So I'm Jen McGowen. I'm the director of Touch, and it is a short film about a deep connection between two strangers. And we shot it in a train station, and this is one of my lovely leads, Rachel.
Rachel Kanouse. I play Heather.
You know, lots of things. I really liked that it was about two women, that it was an interesting, complex relationship between two women. I don't think we get to see that often. I like the message of the film, and I like, from the filmmaker's perspective, the challenge of something simple. And, you know, can I pull this off in 10 minutes? I think you should answer that first, actually. I'm curious to know your thoughts on that.
I think I found it freeing, actually, yeah. I really love simple work the best, and my favorite is work that mixes deep emotion and natural comedy in the way that people actually interact. I've had so many situations where I'm at a funeral or something sad happens in my real life, and people make these off-color jokes, and you laugh and relieve the tension for a minute, and then it goes back to sort of the real seriousness of life, and so I was particularly drawn to that.
I think for me it was more of a challenge, because it's kind of more of a high wire act. There's nothing I have to distract from any missteps, really, because there were only two things happening: the performances and the, I mean, I don't want to say the images, because that's the case in all films, but you know, with one location and very little movement.
And sound, yeah.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot to distract from anything that might not be completely perfect.
Well, I felt that, but I actually think that Jen was the one that created that situation by the way that she likes to work with actors and really focusing so strongly on the performances and letting her prior work on the bones of the short be there so that she can really concentrate on talking with the actors and giving them the time and never making us feel rushed, even though I know things got cut and it was rushed for her. Yeah. She made sure we didn't feel it. And that was really important, to be there and have that calmness.
That's cool. I've never heard that before. Yeah. So this is a great interview. I'm like, oh, good. That's what I'm aiming for, but I don't know if I actually achieved it.
Good job.
Thanks. You did a great job, too. You know, it's interesting that you talk about the time, because I've spent so long on this project. I mean, the things that I've learned have just been about getting older, too. So, I mean, you know, I think this film, as well as the previous films I've made, have helped me hone my voice as a filmmaker. You know, you talk about that when you're in film school, but it doesn't have a weight until you get out there and start making things repeatedly, so you can look back and go, what kind of stuff do I make? I don't know. You know, and people tell you, and you go, oh yeah, that's what I do. You know, this is the thing that I do. And choosing this film, making this film, and traveling with this film has really clarified that for me.
I learned that I really love to work with great scripts and great people. I mean, I knew that already, so I have to explain that a little, because obviously everybody does. But you sort of can lose touch with that after you've worked on some things that you're not as excited about, maybe, or you're not working for a little while, and when you get to something that's like the reason that you started acting in the first place, you just don't want to let it go. You know, you want to keep working on it forever. Even though you can't.
Yeah, it's amazing how fast your hours on set will go when you're like, you know, all obsessed with something, and you're like, what?
But those are the high points, you know?
Yeah.
Then you look back on it and go, that's what it's all about. That's what you're doing all this other stuff for.
Well, I have two things. One that I'm really excited about because it just happened last night. It's a website. I created a website. It's everybody check it out. It's called I Heart Planned Parenthood. So obviously half of you will like it and half of you will not. But it's www.iheartplannedparenthood.com, and it's you know, I just decided that the conversation that's happening around that issue in terms of the visuals seem very one-sided to me. And it didn't kind of match up with my experience of the organization. So I thought, well, that's kind of the thing that I do, so let me throw something out there and see what happens. So basically it's a website where people can just upload their positive experiences of the organization. So that went live last night, and I've been getting really good feedback and hits. I've been checking my phone all day. And then my feature film, which is coming up. But that's in the works, so it's going to take some time. To me, the website was really just a reactionary thing on my part. I got upset about something. I was like, oh, I'm going to fix this. And then I made a website. So, I mean, I'll do my best to get it out there, and I hope it contributes something positive to the conversation, but it's not my mission,
And I am in very loose pre-production on a short film of a short play that I did last summer, that I really want to make into a film. And I've been cast in a play for next January and going over some script suggestions with my friend who's doing it, and interviewing and auditioning for other work. I actually mainly do very small scale theater, and I'm drawn to realistic style acting in it, so I actually think there's less crossover than a lot of theater actors. Like if you're going from Broadway to film, it's a bigger difference, but my heart is in film, and theater is just, it's all acting basically. It's the same, you don't have to project to the back row in film, so there's some technical differences, but the heart of it is the same. I basically do the same thing, and stories are stories, and you tell them the same way, and you just adjust some of the technical aspects, really.
I think that's different from the filmmaker's perspective, though, because I totally agree with you from where you're coming from as an actor. But one of the things that was very intimidating to me about this piece was that it was originally a stage play, and I do not agree that film and theater are that common from the creators, from the filmmaker or director's perspective. Theater is art form of words, and film is an art form of visuals, and they don't usually cross over very well. People think that they do, and then they make the movie and it doesn't work. So that was something that was a challenge for me with this, and people saw the film, advisors and mentors of mine that I respect, and told me not to do it, but I saw something in it. When you read a lot of scripts and you go, that's a great script, I can't make it. I would never be the person to make that. And then sometimes you read a script and you go, you know what? I can make that better than anybody else can. And those are the ones hopefully you get to do.